Hey everybody, it's Jamie from No Getting Off This Train, and in today's video I am showing you how to meal prep mix and match lunches for this week. This video has been a long time coming because I know a lot of you have been asking for easy lunch ideas, and hopefully I'm covering basically everything with these mix and match ideas. Now feel free to skip ahead if you just want to get to the actual meal prep part, but I wanted to kind of preface this with by answering a couple of questions I know some of you have had. First of all, what is a mix and match lunch? Well, what I did was prepare a bunch of different ingredients and put them into separate containers. And the idea is that when it comes time to make your lunch, you just pull out whichever ones you want and put them together to make a lunch. Now, during one of these sessions, you could make 1 to 2 different proteins. So chicken, hard-boiled eggs, ground meat, tofu, beans, that sort of thing. 1 to 2 of those. And then maybe even 1 to 2 carb ideas. So brown rice, quinoa, tortillas, and then 2 to 4 different vegetables. And this could be like spinach or zucchini, tomatoes, bell peppers, any combination of your favorite vegetables. And when you have a good mix of all those ingredients, you're never going to get bored. You're going to have so many different possibilities of lunches you can make. And the idea is not to get bored, because eating the same thing every single day is not fun, let me tell you. This took me about an hour to put everything together. And throughout the video, I'm going to talk about different shortcuts you can take as well if you want to save time as opposed to saving money. So without further ado, let me take you to the meal prep session. Let us get started. There's a little bit of cooking that you need to do beforehand, and even then you can make it easier by using some shortcuts. So first of all, I hard-boiled some eggs. I've got a dozen in here, and I made them in my Instant Pot. However, you can bake them in the oven, you can cook them on the stovetop. I'll leave a link in the description of how I use the Instant Pot for my eggs. Or you can just buy already hard-boiled eggs if you need to save time. So that's an option there, is eggs. I also have chicken breasts in the oven. They've been baking for about 25 minutes. They might have about 10 minutes left. So you can cook those in a few different ways too. You can bake them in the oven, you can use your slow cooker or Instant Pot, or you can buy a rotisserie chicken and just pull all the meat off of there. That could be an easier option. And next up, I'm going to cook some quinoa. So I've just got some tricolor quinoa in here. I'm going to put it in my rice cooker along with some chicken broth. And again, to make things easier, feel free to buy a package of instant quinoa mix. I think it's called Seeds of Change is the brand name, and they have instant packets as well. But this will take about 30-ish minutes or so to cook. So with that being said, let me get that in the rice cooker. I just rinsed the quinoa with water, just pouring it in here, and then I can put in the chicken broth. If you would rather use vegetable broth instead, feel free. But I used 2 cups of quinoa, which means I need to fill it up to the number 2 for cups. So for every 1 cup of quinoa, you need a cup of water. That's a little bit different from brown rice, where if you do 1 cup of brown rice, you need about 2 cups of water. That's just the average that I found. It could be a little bit less than 2 cups per 1 cup of rice, but it's kind of what I go by. So that's gonna go and cook for 30-ish minutes. And now I'll show you what kind of vegetables I'm gonna do. And by the way, if you're using a rice cooker to cook quinoa, use the white rice function. That will cook the quinoa perfectly. And these are the vegetables. Now you can use whatever blend of vegetables you want, but today I decided on a bag of spinach that I can use for salads. I'm chopping up some bell peppers. I am washing and kind of chopping up some of these mushrooms, and then I am chopping up some tomatoes. And that way we'll have a good amount of vegetables to choose from. I just checked on the chicken and it is still not done yet after 35 minutes. Now, these were really big pieces of chicken, so it probably will take a little bit longer. I have them baking at 400 degrees, and this is kind of why I prefer to make my chicken in the slow cooker, because that way, I could throw it in for a few hours and then I know it's done. but I was using my Instant Pot for the eggs, so I thought I would try to do multiple things at the same time and cook the chicken in the oven while the eggs were cooking. So it's not quite working out the way I want it to, but we still have to wait on the quinoa to cook anyway, so it's not a huge deal. So with the vegetables, you can do this in plenty of different ways. You can slice them just like this if you'd rather have them sliced, or you can just dice them into smaller pieces. You could also do a combination of both, just depending on what you want to do with them. And again, if you don't want to spend the time chopping or slicing the vegetables, you could always buy pre-chopped. And you always have to ask yourself, which do you value more? Do you value your time or do you value your money? And there is no wrong answer here, because there may be some weeks where you have plenty of money in your budget, but you just don't have a lot of time to make healthy food. And in that situation, you would want to buy pre-chopped or pre-cooked things, and there is nothing wrong with that. And then there could be weeks where you really need to save some money and you have a little bit of extra time. And in that situation, you could buy the whole pepper, the whole produce, or the uncooked meat, and do all of that yourself. So like I said, there's no wrong answer. I do a combination pretty much every week, just depending on how I'm feeling. So you gotta just do what works for you. And then with anything, you can choose whatever combination of vegetables you want. I felt like having bell peppers and mushrooms and tomatoes in mine, but you could decide maybe you just want some lettuce, maybe you just want some tomatoes, even like cucumbers. You could do that too. Whatever you decide will work for you that week. So as you can see, the way I'm doing this is putting all of the separate food items in just different containers. And that's the idea of the mix and match, is where you just have everything in separate containers, and then whatever you're feeling that week, you just add those to your bowl, to your container, and just take it with you. And that way, like, you're kind of eating some of the same ingredients, but you're eating them in different ways. So for example, with me, I might decide to have a wrap, and I'll put in some chicken and spinach and bell peppers. Or then maybe the next day, I want to have a bowl. So I'm going to put in some quinoa, maybe some of the spinach, and then maybe I want like a southwestern theme, so I'll use the black beans, and then like bell peppers and tomatoes. So when you change things up like that, it really does make it easier to eat healthy. You don't have to eat the same thing every single day in order to be healthy or lose weight. You can have a variety of foods like this that's easy to prepare, and that'll make it easier for you to stay on track. I kind of wish that I had started doing this earlier, because this really is convenient. And now that it's summertime for me and that Allison is out of school, I can do this ahead of time, and these are no heat lunches. So if we decide to go to the park one day and have an outing, I can just throw this together and bring it with me. I am still eating healthy. It's not a sandwich, which there's nothing wrong with a sandwich, but you know, sandwiches can get kind of boring. So I can always just throw this together and take it with me. And then lastly is the mushrooms. So this is where I like to save some time by buying the pre-sliced mushrooms. Now, as you can see, some of them are kind of on the big side, so if you wanted to break them apart like that, that's fine. Like, I don't care either way, but that'll work for me. But I have all 3 of my vegetables chopped. The chicken is getting ready to come out, and hopefully it's done. Okay, finally. This was probably like 40 to 50 minutes worth of cooking, but it's finally reached the 165 that it needs. I'm gonna let it sit for a couple minutes and then I'm going to shred it. But I don't feel like shredding all this by hand, so we're gonna use my KitchenAid mixer. So if you have never used the KitchenAid mixer to shred chicken before, you are in for a treat. I think I'm actually gonna do just 2 at a time, but you want warm chicken. I mean, cold chicken I think will work fine too, but I think it's easier to shred when it's hot. You just take this and bring it over to your KitchenAid mixer and use the paddle attachment. Okay, so this is actually a lot of chicken. So what I may end up doing actually is freezing a lot of this. Freezing shredded chicken and already cooked chicken is so convenient, especially when it comes to like making quick and easy dinners later in the week or just whenever you need an emergency dinner. So yeah, I'm going to freeze this, but chicken is done, the quinoa is almost finished, and we are just about done. Another protein I am using is black beans. So once again, you could do this one in 2 different ways. You could use a can of beans that's already been cooked and prepared, or you can buy a bag of dried beans and cook it yourself. You will be saving a little bit of money that way. You'll be able to control like the sodium and stuff that's in your beans. You'll be able to get a lot more out of it. However, today I went for convenience and I just pulled a can of black beans out of my pantry. So all I have to do with this is open it, drain and rinse it, and then add it to another container, and then that is it. We finally made it. This took maybe an hour to work on, kind of like off and on. So here's the vegetables we have. We have spinach, we have mushrooms, bell peppers, and tomatoes. The 3 proteins that we have are shredded chicken, black beans, and hard-boiled eggs. And the 2 carbs that we have are quinoa and tortillas. So let me show you just some of the combinations that you can use to make your mix and match lunches. This first one uses chicken as the protein, quinoa as the carb, and then spinach, tomatoes, and bell peppers. I also like to add a bit of healthy fats to my meal, so I added some shredded cheese on top. So this made the perfect salad. As you can see, like it makes a ton, and it's no heat, so you can put this in a container and take it with you. The other carb that I used was a tortilla. Now you can fill it with pretty much anything, but this time I made kind of an egg salad. I took 2 of the hard-boiled eggs and mixed it with some red pepper hummus. I know it looks a little bit weird, but that's all it was that, plus I think some paprika, salt and pepper, and then my vegetables were spinach and mushrooms. But that just makes an easy wrap that you can put together ahead of time. You can put all of this stuff in a separate container and then put it in the wrap when you're ready to eat it so it doesn't get soggy. And then this last one is another bowl with spinach, tomatoes, and bell peppers, I think. And then I had chicken and black beans. Then I put salsa and shredded cheese on top. But this is just 3 different examples. I mean, you could use any combination of the above. There's probably countless combinations. So pick your favorite one and you will not get bored with your lunches this week. I hope this gave you a few ideas for lunches. I had a lot of fun making it. I enjoyed eating all of it. It was all super delicious and healthy with a good mix of the vegetables as well as the healthy carb ideas and the proteins. All of that together was enough to keep me full throughout lunchtime. And the best thing is these things are no heat, so you can take them to work with you. If you don't have access to a microwave or anything, these are perfect. Leave me a comment and let me know, do you do any sort of meal prep like this where you just prep a bunch of ingredients and then put them all together into a meal like throughout the week? This is really helpful, and I think I'm going to do this more often. I have another video coming out soon on easy snack ideas, another video that's been highly requested, so make sure you stay tuned for that. In the meantime, if you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and do so right now and like this video and ring that bell, and that way you'll be notified when more videos like this come out, as well as my other grocery hauls, recipes, and meal planning tips. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you later. Did you know I offer one-on-one nutrition coaching? Whether your goal is to lose weight, eat healthier, or just want to know how to get started, I can help. You can schedule a free weight loss discovery call by using the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to chat with you.